that they have no waterproofing. So what happens generally is that a bird will reach down at the base of its tail, it wipes its beak across an oil gland, and then it will individually preen each feather. And that way it will actually waterproof its feathers. But unfortunately for the barn owl, it doesn't have that oil gland. It doesn't have that waterproofing. And the reason is he needs to keep his feathers nice and soft so that he can fly silently. Once they have this waterproofing, it makes the feathers very rigid, and that way when he flaps his wings, the resistance of the wind past the wings makes a sound. But having very soft feathers means it's perfect silent. I'll just turn him around, let it fly, let him not see him over there. There you go. And of course, the idea that they fly silently is that they can hear better. If they don't make a noise themselves, obviously, they can hear everything that's going on around them. And scientists reckon that the barn owl, when it's hovering just 4 to 5 inches above the ground, 100 mil to 125 mil, it can actually hear the heartbeat of a mouse. And that is absolutely remarkable. Now, I never understand how they tried and tested this, but what I do know that some years ago, no more probably than 2 years, I watched a documentary on television where they had several birds flying across these very powerful microphones in a studio that was linked to a graph. And as the birds flew past, there was a barn owl, a crow, a pigeon and a raven. But as the birds flew past, it would register on this graph. Now every one of them, except the barn owl, put a register on the graph. The barn owl was totally silent. Now obviously when we're flying the bird with his falconry equipment on, his jesses and his anklet, and in this case a little tiny transmitter, he will make a sound. But overall the flight is silent. Now having that soft feathering and no waterproofing means that they can hear well. But the downside of it is that when it's pouring down with rain outside, two things happen. First of all, it can't hear very well because of the raindrops hitting the undergrowth. It could be the grass or the bracken or bramble. It makes a sound. So secondly, if the bird goes down onto the floor and it's fairly long grass, then all its feathers are absolutely soaking wet and it can't fly. Or at least it can fly very poorly. Now, barn owls, most of them don't get beyond the age of 18 months. Most barn owls die before they get to 18 months of age. And one of the reasons is simply, as I say, the bad weather, the lack of food, and this possible raining all the time, few nights, few days, means the barn owls suffer badly. However, the name barn owl, when it's pouring down outside, the barn owl can go and take shelter in a barn, and it can be there for 2 days, 2 nights, because in the barn there's a potential for it to find things like small mice, rats, even insects at the very minimal. That means that the barn owl will actually find enough food to put it over until the weather gets better. Barn owls can lay up to 6 or 8 eggs. Generally it's anything from 2 to 6. So when they do have the youngsters, they've got to work very, very hard. Both male and female will be flying all through the night and sometimes even through the daytime. So although they're nocturnal, the nighttime flyers, it's quite often you'll see them flying around on a summer's day and they're continuing to hunt because they've not had enough food through the night, because 6 little mouths or 8 little mouths to feed takes some doing, because believe it or not, barn owls at 14 days of age can eat up to 3 or 4 rodents a day. So imagine how many mice that the parents must work with. For 30 plus days they will be feeding them youngsters and taking that number of mice. You must admit you can't get a better pest control than having a pair of barn owls on your site, because they will do the job for you. It's clean, it's effective, and it doesn't affect any other part of the wildlife at all. It's a wonderful thing. So it's no surprise that farmers over the years have encouraged barn owls into barns, particularly where they've got lots of grain, where mice and rats might eat into it. So it's a perfect solution. Apart from anything else, it's nature's way. So a lovely little bird. Now, having said that, we're talking about the barn owl hearing the heartbeat of a mouse. I'd like to invite some young children into the arena, and we'll give you a little taste of how it feels to be that little mouse when that bird's flying over you. So we've got some little children who'd like to come in. Just pop you over or under the rope there, but be very careful you don't catch yourself. And I get you in a nice straight line. Mums can come in as well if the children. Lots of evaluation there, isn't it? Now what we're going to do, we're going to let the barn owl fly right over your head, so you can leave your eyes open, you can watch him flying over. Okay, we're ready now. Alright, we just stay, we'll go back the other way now. Now you can see, without this equipment on, they would be silent flying. And what they would do, they would be hovering round and be working each patch of the field, just listening out for mice or other rodents, shrews, bank voles, things like that, which would all go towards feeding their babies, of course. Oh, side back you there now. Right, what we're going to do now, let's see, all lie down on your back. Go on, all lie down and you get it really, really low this time. Are we ready? Okay, and I can tell you at this stage, it hasn't plopped on anyone yet. Are we ready now? Right, this time stay there, but close your eyes tight. And no